Welcome back into the Cowboys Report. Third time today with a video, which I'm sure you guys all watched because you have your notifications set to all. Some fairly noteworthy news wanted to do at home style for you guys. Takk McKinley is, as I sit here filming this, on a visit with the Dallas Cowboys, a veteran free agent who you may have actually heard of, which the Cowboys haven't done very much of that so far this offseason. McKinley is a former first-round pick of the Atlanta Falcons, and as you can probably assume, the relationship knowledge there with Dan Quinn playing a big role in the Cowboys' apparent significant interest in signing McKinley. Now, there are some potential issues involved here in terms of the timing and the deal itself, the biggest of which is McKinley suffered a torn Achilles in December. So although you have examples like Cam Akers where players are able to make a rapid recovery, the more likely outcome is McKinley is still at least a little bit away from being able to make his return to the football field. But the Achilles recovery process has kind of streamlined in recent years, which I think is a big deal for the NFL. So there is interest there. The Cowboys love their passers, and as we'll get into more in depth, we know the Cowboys loved Takk McKinley coming out of UCLA, and had the Falcons not acquired him, I do think he would have been the draft pick by Dallas, as opposed to legendary bust and Cowboys legend Taco Charlton as well. But there is apparent interest here in adding Takk McKinley to the Dallas Cowboys roster, potentially adding some veteran depth at the edge rusher spot where the Cowboys are always trying to find talent, even if you have Micah pass rusher doing his thing from that standpoint. Add another former Dan Quinn player in Dante Fowler this offseason. We'll break down a potential move, which Todd Archer says they're not signing him at this point. I know Clarence Hill kind of made it sound like it was closer. We'll wait and see. Could just be we'll see how the medical checks out and then revisit once he's healthier. Kind of like the Malik Hooker situation where they brought him in for a visit, didn't sign him again until a little bit later, but they also signed Hooker early on in camp. So, first question of the day is, do you want to sign Takkarist McKinley? Y for yes, N for no. I will make this question the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there, type in Y for yes or N for no. Looking at what McKinley's done in his NFL career, not great. 5 years since that 2017 first-round pick, and overall, better play early in his career as Olivia continues to scream. 2017, 7 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 10 quarterback hits. 2018, 7 tackles for loss. It's a common theme, by the way. 7 sacks, 15 quarterback hits. But since then, hasn't done much of anything. In fact, that 7-sack season and that 7 TFL campaign was his career best. It's gone the wrong direction since then. 3.5 sacks, 7 TFLs again, 2019. Only played in 4 games in 2020 due to injury. A TFL, a sack. Did have 7 quarterback hits, 3 TFLs, 2.5 sacks, 8 quarterback hits. I would put McKinley at this stage in his NFL career in a similar-ish bucket to Dante Fowler, to Terrell Basham, where sure, 1-year deal, little to no guaranteed money. Heck yeah, I got no problems with that idea whatsoever. But also, I don't know, depending on when he gets healthy, hypothetically, if he'd even be that key of a role player for you. Think about what the Cowboys have in the defensive end room. DeMarcus Lawrence, Dorrance Armstrong, Sam Williams, Dante Fowler, a potentially maybe more typical interior defensive line role for Chauncey Golston. Think of him as like the new Tyrone Crawford, potentially. Some UDFAs, Big Cat Bryant, Mika Tafua, those guys are out there, I suppose. You are, of course, hoping, planning, necessarily needing to use Micah Parsons as an edge. He's too good to not consistently rush the passer. But edge is not that big of a priority. But if you could almost stash McKinley for a little bit, that would give you some flexibility. Maybe the Cowboys go more pass rusher heavy than interior defensive lineman heavy and move on from maybe hypothetically, if McKinley makes the team along with like a Dante Fowler, you could move on from both a Carlos Watkins or Tristan. Oh, by the way, Hill is looking pretty good so far in camp, so shout out Tristan Hill there. I want to go back to what the Cowboys, their view of McKinley entering the draft. Before we do that, make sure you guys are subscribed to the at-home video, of course, just to give you guys the news, and the wife said it was okay to do it, so take advantage of it, right? Hit that big red button and subscribe. Daily videos, and on days like today, 3 videos for you guys. I'll also link the other 2 for you in the comment section. I want to mention the note from Todd Archer, who said they're not signing him at this point, but Stephen Jones said the past relationship with Dan Quinn plays part in the interest. Here's what else Stephen Jones said. Shout out new DallasCowboys.com writer Patrick Walker for this. Quote, "We had him in for an official 30 visit. Loved him coming out. A huge fan of the way he plays the game, play temperament, play style. We got a lot of inside knowledge there too." That refers to Dan Quinn. "You can't have enough guys rushing the passer. We did Malik Hooker just like this." Now, I'm curious if the Hooker part means bring him in for a visit and then sign him 2 months later, or sign him in the middle of training camp. That was the case for both of those things with Hooker. Both Hooker, Takk McKinley, and DeMonte Casey also coming off torn Achilles. McKinley suffered his in December, so again, we're talking about not even really 8 months removed from that injury. Maybe he's ready week 1. Might be pushing it a little bit from that standpoint. So hypothetically speaking, assuming it is a cheap 1-year deal, little to no guaranteed money, grade the potential signing of Takk McKinley. A, B, C, D, or F. Maybe you just type in S for they actually did something, hypothetically speaking. Sound off for me in the comments section. I like McKinley quite a bit coming out too. He's a top 20 player for me in that class. Had him above Taco Charlton. But we also are not going to talk about how we and the Cowboys felt about TJ Watt. That's been overplayed at this point. In the end, I'm down to sign Takk McKinley. I wouldn't expect an instant impact. This guy's had less than 7 sacks the past 3 seasons. I know Steven just hyped up Sam Williams. We'll talk about that tomorrow as well. I like him. I'm fine with it. Cheap 1-year deal. Those deals never, ever go wrong. Worst case, you cut him. I'm also not going to be heartbroken if they don't sign him or if the medical checks out in a negative standpoint. So we'll keep an eye on the Takk McKinley situation. At minimum, the Cowboys have interest. I would wager a very good chance that if the medical checks out, they do sign him at some point, just to figure out when the some point ends up being. McKinley, by the way, just to make it super clear, is an edge rusher. He can play 3-4 edge, 4-3 defensive end. It's all the same. It's a pass rusher job. I would say he'd probably be one of your backup situational players who you try to utilize for a team that loves to rotate pass rushers in those third down situations. But we'll see how the visit goes. We'll see how the medical checks out. That, of course, is a huge deal. Achilles injuries have come a long way. Doesn't mean they always check out. So Cowboys have interest. We'll wait and see when they choose to sign Takk McKinley.